All right, so, wow, oh my gosh, the sun is shining. Tell us, Wendy, what have you been up to since the last time we saw you 3 months ago?
What have I been up to? I've been to the theatre.
What did you see?
I saw Tina Turner, the musical.
Oh, wow, how was it?
It's fabulous.
Oh, fantastic. What was so good about it?
Well, the thing is, because of everyone had to wear the mask, you had to wear your mask inside.
Yeah.
But I think the last 10 minutes, everybody just took their mask off and got in the aisle and was singing and
Wow.
dancing. Yeah.
Wow. So you'd recommend this?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I'd recommend Tina Turner.
Has anyone else seen any plays or Tina Turner recently?
No Tina Turner, unfortunately.
So... Oh, yeah. Mikey.
No, I went to a gig and I've been to a few gigs actually since sort of lockdown has relaxed a little bit, and the atmosphere has been electric because everyone is ready to actually actually start to celebrate and enjoy themselves again. So I went to see not Tina Turner but the Turbans. I went to see the Turbans.
What's that? What is that?
It's actually a Hackney-based band, like a fusion band. They're a little bit Persian, a little bit Turkish, a bit Kurdish.
Oh wow, that sounds quite
a little bit Italian.
So a nice mix.
Nice mixture of different. And a bit rock. They're a bit rock and roll as well.
A bit of rock and roll.
So a bit of everything.
And like Wendy, did you guys just rip off your masks in the last 10 minutes?
I mean, we weren't. There was a very strict kind of door entry policy that you either had to have a test or a vaccine, the COVID pass. But once you got inside, it was just free for all. Yeah. There was no masks or anything.
We had to show,
We
had to show COVID certificate. Test thingy.
Vaccine pass. We
have to show that.
Right. So, okay, come and take a seat. Come and join us. We're talking about shows going to the West End. We got Wendy here. She recently saw Tina Turner, and then we've also got Mikey that went to a concert, and everyone just said how nice it's been to be back out again, just enjoying the culture that exists in London. Tell us your name.
Hi, my name's
Lorraine.
Give us a bit more.
No, it's just...
What's that, number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3's not plugged in.
Oh my gosh, it's all right.
Here it is.
Yeah, as I said before, we haven't officially started. You guys are just, part of the warm-up process before we really get things going at 12 o'clock.
Try that again.
Hi, my name's Lorraine.
Ah, perfect. That sounds fantastic. That sounds absolutely fantastic. Lorraine, have you been to the West End recently to see any plays, or have you been to any concerts recently?
Yeah, I went to Camden Roundhouse and I saw a band called Sisters of Mercy.
Oh.
Very goth.
Right. So tell us about it. I mean, what was the experience like going there?
It was amazing. Yeah, I went with 2 friends. It was about half full. There wasn't many people, but that's good because we got to the front. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Good to be out.
Wow. So good to be out. Good to be out again. So, after hearing from Wendy, Mikey and Lorraine, do you think you're going to get out to like a concert or theatre production anytime soon?
I've been to some festivals.
You've been to some festivals?
Yeah, I went to a festival in Brockwell Park.
Oh, right.
And also Beckham Park.
Oh, nice. How was it?
They were good. They were all outdoors. Everyone was on a nice, vibe. It was fun.
Yeah. So it sounds like everyone's kind of been having a lot of fun, getting out and about, going to festivals, theatre productions, concerts. Mikey?
To a festival in Brockwell Park as well.
Oh, what was it called?
I went to Wide Awake Festival.
I went to Cross the Tracks.
Oh, Cross the Tracks, that was on the Sunday.
Yeah.
I have to say, Brockwell Park seemed like it was quite busy this summer. I mean, although I didn't go to any festivals, I know it's not about me, but I just kept getting advertised loads of festivals at Brockwell Park. Oh, Beckenham Palace Park. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, a lot of festivals happened this summer. Fantastic, amazing. So other than that, Wendy, what else have you been up to within the last 3 months?
What else have I been up to? I went to the theatre again to see Circus de Berserk.
Oh.
Yeah, it's more children-based, but
Right.
we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it.
When you say we, who's we?
I took a friend of mine.
Oh, you took a friend of yours.
Yeah.
How about yourself? Have you been to the cinema or engaged in any cultural activities?
I went to the spa last weekend.
Oh,
yes, I did.
Talking to the mic. We want to know. We want to know.
I did go to. Where did you go?
Hampshire Court.
Oh, you went to Hampshire Court last week.
Talking to the mic there.
So we had an overnight stay in Hampshire Court, having a spa.
Oh,
that
lovely.
Was lovely.
Oh, it was your birthday.
It was my birthday last week. So
Oh,
yes,
wow. Wow.
it
So
was
that
lovely. Yeah.
August.
Yes.
August.
September.
September. Oh, yeah, because it
Last
was
week.
September last week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, sorry. So you had a nice birthday.
Had a nice birthday
So what do you do in the spa? Like, what kind of activities were
Well,
there?
I had a body massage and a face massage, and then I went swimming. Did a lot of swimming.
Oh, nice.
And steam sauna, and just relax.
Just relax.
Really.
Is this the first time you've been to a spa on your birthday, or?
Yeah, I've been to spa before, but this is the first one on my birthday, for my birthday.
Ah,
yes.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what everyone should kind of do on at least one birthday in your lifetime? Do you think
Yeah.
spas are what we should do on our birthdays? What do you think?
Yes, relax. Yes, just
Yeah?
relax.
Pamper yourself.
Pamper yourself.
Pamper yourself. Pamper yourself.
Yes.
Say that again.
I said not just a birthday. We should treat ourselves more often.
Just treat yourself. When was the last time you went to a spa?
I actually went a couple of weekends ago, also for a belated birthday.
Nice.
Present from my mum, yeah.
Ah, lovely. What
But
spa
that was
was
the
it?
first time. It was one up north.
Ah, nice. And like, how was it? What did you do there? How did you feel before? How did you feel afterwards?
I was quite tired before, and I felt even more tired after. But it was like a nice, relaxing. I had a massage and a facial.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it seems like massages, getting a nice little facial. These are things to make sure we tick off the list when we go to the spa. How about yourself? Have you been to? When was the last time you went to a spa? When was the last time you pampered yourself?
Spa a while ago.
Yeah.
But self-care, we're into self-care, so pampering Sunday nights.
Oh,
Sunday nights.
Sunday
yeah.
nights.
Yeah.
What does your self-care routine look like on a Sunday night?
Face mask, cleanse myself on the weekend, and an early night. Yeah.
What is an early night to you?
Oh, I'm actually quite like. An early night is like 9, 10. I'm like,
9, 10, 9, 10, 9, 10. 10. All right.
10's good.
What about everyone else? What is an early night? What's an early night for you, Mikey? Midnight.
Midnight. Give us a bit more on. Oh, yeah, midnights. Yes. But one of the things I find interesting is that, like the whole spa thing, it's a very female thing. I mean, I don't know.
There's men
No?
there.
Ooh, there's
We
men
had
there?
men there when
I've never been, and none of my friends, I don't think, my male friends anyway, have gone to a spa.
But where we went last week, there was male there.
So there were men there when you
Yes.
went, right? There were men there.
Can I ask?
Yeah,
Have
absolutely.
you ever had a pedicure? Or you find that to be a female thing?
I've never had a pedicure.
You should.
Yeah.
You should. Go and have a pedicure and a manicure. It's lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I just tend to just rip.
You don't have to take your clothes off. You just take your shoes off.
Yeah.
I mean, for a massage, you might have to.
Can I just ask, how much does a pedicure cost?
All right. Just around the corner from here, I can have a pedicure is about £18.
All right. But what is
And
a
you can
pedicure? What
get a
happens?
massage as well. They soak your feet.
Yeah.
And they take off all the crusty stuff.
Oh, do you have crusty stuff on your feet, Mikey?
I don't know, because I can't see that far.
Right, but do you not feel your feet?
Yeah, I think they're okay, because the one thing talking about self-care, I do like to lie in the bath. That's my self-care. That's about as far as I go.
Okay.
Because I have a son, he's very manly, and he treated himself to a pedicure and a manicure, and he said it was the most relaxing thing.
Really?
Yeah. Because men, women look at your fingers and stuff, and men tend not to, you know what I mean? But it's nice. It makes you feel good.
It makes you feel good. We got a new person at the table. Tell us what your name is.
My name is Justin.
Well, we got Justin. Say that again, Justin.
Justin.
Justin, perfect. So we've just been, so we've just been talking about getting out, going to concerts. going to the theatre productions. But now we've moved on to the topic of like self-care and pampering and going to going to a spa, and also getting pedicures and manicures. But Mikey here said that, you know, our pedicures and manicures, they're a feminine thing. He hasn't heard of any women that have, any men that get pedicures and manicures.
I mean, to me it sounds like quite a lot of money, 18 quid to spend on getting your nails cut.
Oh,
your toenails especially. Is it like 18 for toes and 18 for hands?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, tell us, have you got a pedicure or manicure before? I know there's a lot of spots around here in Pembury. Justin, what do you think? Have you got a pedicure or manicure before? Is it just a feminine thing to do?
I haven't done it myself, but I understand pedicures because doing your toenails is awkward.
It's awkward.
You have to bend in all sorts of strange ways to do it. So.
Do you do your toenail sometimes?
Yeah, but I use a fingernail clipper, and I believe you can get a toenail one, but it's awkward. Yeah.
Right, it's awkward.
It's a pain, you know.
Would you get someone to do that for you then? Is that what you're saying?
No, I still do it myself.
Do it yourself. But apparently when you go to a shop and get a little pedicure, you're going to get a foot massage as well. Yes. You know, Wendy's son said it's one of the best experiences he's ever had in his life. You know, so pedicure or manicures, do you get them? He looks like a busy guy. Yeah, we're not, but you know, just the benefits of self-care. Yeah, Mikey.
Have you seen that Father Ted sketch where?
No.
What's the name of the old priest? Father Jack's getting his toenails done, and they're wearing like this kind of like this special face shield because they're just pinging everywhere.
Right. Let's get your name. Tell us who you are and pedicures or manicures.
Hello, I'm Margot. I used to go and have my nails, and I don't get the fake nails done. I've never have. I'm just a bit squeamish about it. But I used to sometimes go to have my pedicure done, but then I stopped because I just ran out of money. I just never prioritized it. But I do kind of do it at home. But my friend was telling me he bought like a couple spa for his girlfriend. Ooh. In the end, me and him went because he broke up with her.
Hey.
I mean, it's very sad, but he's happily married now, so it's all good.
Wonderful.
But we went, and I was just thinking, it would have been just so awkward. I mean, we were friends. Maybe that's what made it really awkward. We were lying side by side, and we were having treatment done to us at the same time. And I think it's just a bit of a personal thing. I wouldn't want to share that with my partner.
Right.
Just like having them just next to me, having
a massage.
Pedicure done or massage.
Oh, right.
I don't,
so you're
it's just
saying
too private.
You're saying like when you do your nails and get your feet done, it's a really private act.
Yeah.
So you know.
But it's a couples thing as well. Do people do it in couple? Would you do it in a couple? I have no idea.
I would think you do a massage in a couple thing. I wouldn't like to have a massage done with somebody I really don't know next to me, lying there half naked. But a manicure and a pedicure, having someone next to me that I don't know, wouldn't bother me.
It doesn't.
Because you're in your own separate space anyway.
Separate little booth. Margot.
Well, if you do know them, like let's say that's your romantic partner, and the person who does the pedicure goes like, "Oh, you let yourself go. Look at this crusty bit, whatever."
No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't comment on your feet.
I'm just your comment, Wendy, that women look at men's fingernails. They're going to be quite disappointed because I quite often, like, I've been fixing my bike or something like that, or just I don't know, doing the gardening, and they're just like disgusting. I never really think about it myself.
Right. So you don't think about it. So maybe you need to get one. I mean, what do you think about this conversation about manicures, pedicures, Lorraine? Do you have a self-care routine?
I don't do manicures and pedicures regularly, but I think they're good, and if it floats your boat, go for it. It makes you feel better. So it's all about feeling better about what you're doing.
So it's all about feeling better.
So I was feeling a bit stressed recently, so I went to the sea a couple of weeks ago. And I walked on the beach and went in the sea, and it was that for me was like self-care.
What seaside was that?
Mersey Island in Essex. It's near Colchester.
Oh wow! So you're saying being by the sea is what really improves your overall well-being?
Yes, it's
Wow.
a place that I like to be. So
it's really interesting for you. It's not really about getting the pedicures, manicures, or face masks. It's more about going to the sea and walking along the
going
coast.
into nature.
Going back into nature. Wow. So we've got self-care, cold showers. Mikey?
I mean, it's interesting where this conversation is going. You know, all this, like the meditation. I mean, I don't know what. I don't know much about it myself, but a lot of people seem to be doing it.
Right.
As far as I can make out, meditation is just like sitting still, not doing anything.
Does anyone meditate around the table? Or does anyone meditate at all? Are you able to give? Thank you very much. I don't know why I'm sneezing. I guess the weather, the temperature. But yeah, does anyone meditate around the table? Are you able to sort of give Mikey a bit of insight into what it is? Is it? Hey, hello. What's your? Not quite. Do you meditate? So
every morning I would do a bit of breath work.
So, what is breath work? Is it just breathing, or what is breath work?
Yeah, just like controlling your breathing. There's different techniques that you can do for like depending on how you feel.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling like anxious, you could do a certain technique. But if you want to kind of do it a bit more focused, you could do a different technique. Or energize. There are different kind of techniques that you can do to get your day going right.
And how long have you been doing breath work?
Probably just over lockdown I started it,
Yeah. And you notice a difference in what differences do you notice?
Just like a good way to start your day, or if you're ever feeling a bit like anxious or worried about anything, you can then just get back to feeling normal again.
So it's about getting back to sort of feeling normal again. Okay. I mean, what is feeling normal? You know, what is feeling normal?
Feeling good, maybe. Feeling
positive. Feeling good. All right, okay. So we Mikey, do you feel you have a bit of insight into maybe, do you meditate? Let us know. Come and join us.
I mean, it's just about this idea of breathing, because we do it sort of by ourselves anyway. We don't have to think about it. But I think sometimes when you think about breathing, it's a different kind of a different kind of thing, and actually you can like relax a little bit by just breathing a bit more slowly. Sometimes if I want to go to sleep, I just think, I need to breathe a bit slower.
Right. So you are currently doing breath work, you know?
Well, I wouldn't call it breath work, because like it's not really work, and not breathing is a lot harder than breathing.
Right. All right, okay. So that helps you to fall asleep and gives you a normal sort of feeling of sleep in a way. That's interesting. Right now, Wendy, just to fill you in, we're talking about breath work here. Remind me of your name again. Sinead said that, you know, she's been doing breath work over lockdown to kind of help with different, to help elevate her mood in a way. Have you heard of breath work before? Yeah? No? Maybe you could tell us again what breathwork is.
It's just like
Sorry. Sorry, that's my bad.
like different breathing techniques that you can do to like change how you're feeling. So if you're feeling anxious, or if you want to feel energized, or feel focused, there are different kind of techniques that you can do to, depending on how you feel, and it's just being more aware about how you feel, and then controlling your breathing.
Yeah, it helps to give you an awareness of the different moods. Do you think you might try some breath work, Wendy?
I have COPD, so...
Sorry, say that again?
I have COPD.
What is that?
Congestive obstructive pulmonary disease.
So
I have problems with my lungs.
Okay, because I was going to ask, what is the symptoms of that?
Problems with my lungs, yeah.
Problem with your lungs. So,
short of breath. It's like asthma.
Okay then. And is breathing something that may, this breath work, do you think it could possibly
improve it? Yes.
Probably would. Yeah. I mean, what other things can improve like lung health? Does anyone know? I know singing can anyway. I was just doing this project with this hospital, Harefields. And apparently singing helps people with their lungs. I don't know if you sing.
No.
But Lorraine, you were nodding your head actually about different, when I was talking about different ways you can improve your lung health, do you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Singing is really beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the deep breathing would help as well, because it's really good for asthma, people that have got asthma.
Yeah.
So taking the breath down into the stomach and the diaphragm rather than when it's stressed.
Right.
You tend to breathe from the chest rather than bringing the breath down into the stomach.
Right. Okay, this is interesting how breath can be used to sort of benefit our lives in a way, Who would have thought? Or maybe a lot of people thought, that's why things like this exist, such as breath work. And Mikey?
It's better than not breathing, isn't it? That's not very helpful.
That's so true. Does anyone not breathe who's alive now? Can you not breathe?
But
if you're alive?
What? Holding your breath actually is supposed to be quite good for you as well. And sometimes, I'm talking about every day I have a bath. I know it's not and it's a warm bath. It's not a cold bath.
Yeah.
Like the lady over there. But I always hold my breath under the water.
Oh, wow.
For like half a minute.
Wow.
Not very long, but...
Have you ever gone for longer?
I've gone for 2 minutes. It's about the longest I can do.
So why do you hold your breath underwater?
It's just kind of fun, really, more than anything else.
Okay, wow. So you must have quite a deep bath.
No, I don't. I normally have a very shallow bath, just face down in the water.
Okay, that's interesting. So you must have some very healthy lungs, if holding your breath is meant to be a really great thing, then you must have some very healthy lungs.
I was listening to the radio yesterday while I was driving, and they were saying that some of the athletes and singers swim with a brick. Yes. So it enhances their breathing.
Right.
And I couldn't figure that out, but they said it was very good.
Okay.
So I took her word for it.
Is this something that you might try?
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay, so swim. I guess to swim, do you have to hold your breath to swim, Justin?
I'm sorry, Mike, but I find what you do in a bath bizarre. You seem to be suggesting that there was some health benefit to it, and when asked, you didn't answer that question.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it could be a health benefit. It's like a well-being benefit, because I really love having a bath every morning. Like today, because we were setting this up, my bath was only like 15 minutes long.
Right.
And normally I like to spend like 45 minutes in the bath.
Right.
And I do. I like to breathe. I know this sounds weird, but I like to inhale water.
Oh, right.
And I like to lie in the bath. I like to hold my breath sometimes.
Yeah.
Just generally, just relax, chill out, wake up slowly. And check social media as well.
In the bath.
In the bath.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is it safe to have your phone in the bath? I don't know. That sounds like a bit of a hazard. Mikey. I mean, Margot.
Same difference. I find checking social media stressful though. Are you going?
Oh, let's get your name. Give us 2 minutes of your time.
Hi, my name is Sebastian.
Say that again?
My name is Sebastian.
Sebastian. Welcome, Sebastian. We got another new face at the table. What's your name? Oh, talking to the mic there. What's your name? Kane. We got Kane Moss. We got Sebastian. Sebastian, we've been talking about self-care, going to doing different cultural activities in London, going to spas, getting massages, swimming, holding one's breath underwater. Do you have any self-care practices? Have you been to the spa recently?
No, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian, and I work in
You're a Christian?
Yeah, and I work in a Christian church.
Okay, so in what way does being a Christian, how does that benefit your life in a way?
I like to talk to people. I like to bring people to the church. That's not real. They have sickness. They have mental health problems.
Yeah. So to be honest with you, we are kind of talking about our health, our overall health. What other things do you do for your health to maybe manage your mental health?
If you have mental health problem, you can come to the church in number 20 Rentas Road, E962E.
Okay then. Thank you for sharing that, Sebastian. Christian? Is it Chris? Say that again. C of E. What is C of E?
Church of England.
Thank you very much. Let us know how it all goes. Church of England, yeah. Are you part of the Church of England? Do you go to a Church of England church? No.
About 20 years.
20 years. Okay then. How come? What? Why?
When I went to church last, the person who was on the pulpit was talking about drink.
Alcohol.
I came out of the pub, went into the bar and had a drink. And I went, bloody atheist.
What church was that?
CV, Church of England.
Oh, was it in this area, Pembury?
No. I'm not from down here.
So,
Not with my accent, you bloody know where I come from.
Whereabouts do you come from?
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire. All right then, that's interesting. Is it a thing that people do in churches in Yorkshire? Sorry, that's not funny. But yeah, okay, so that's really interesting. Margot.
I've got a friend. She used to live in Hackney. I used to live in Hackney, but I no longer live here. But it's nice to come back. But she was going to the church. I think maybe it's St. John's Church, just down, just over there. And I remember she really liked the congregation and stuff. She's a Polish Catholic, but she didn't like the fact that they started a brewery there.
Ooh.
Which made me think.
It's interesting.
I was just thinking about it because in Poland, where I also come from, that would be unheard of. You would not have a brewery. You would not have a fancy cafe attached to the church. When I went to Berlin a few years ago, there was a cafe in the church, and I thought, oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But brewery in the church offended my friend, which I was surprised about because I thought she's quite open-minded. But she said faith and alcohol doesn't mix.
Yeah. I mean, what do you tell us your name again? Actually, in the mic, Anna. What do you think about mixing, alcohol and the church? Is it something that would offend you, or?
I think if there's anything that gets people more involved in what they'd like to be involved with, that's absolutely fine. Holy Communion involves alcohol, so and that's just in the Christian religion. I don't know if obviously other religions don't include alcohol, so I think it's personal preference is quite good. Yeah.
So you're saying anything that may get people a little bit more involved in the activities that they enjoy doing, go for it. Mikey.
Yeah, we've actually done the Talkaoke in the church, and.
See you shortly. Come back.
2 minutes. Anyway, no, maybe not. We done Talkaoke in the church, and I was doing it with a Polish friend of mine. He was doing the camera work, and he was actually shocked that they would have Talkaoke. This is this thing here, this talk show in a church. And I think it's just a different attitude to what a church is. But we were actually invited by the Church of England to come and do a whole series of shows to get people talking.
That sounds fun.
And they saw it as a very sort of productive thing to do in a church.
So did it happen? When
this
are
was
these
actually
gigs?
in and around the borough of Islington.
Wow, that's really interesting. I mean, it's a church, right? So why do they need help with people talking? Help to get people talking. Justin.
I was just wondering, Mikey, if the nature of the discussion in the church differed in any measure from a wider audience, because you were talking to churchgoers only.
No, but actually the people going to it was actually a young people session, so it was like mostly young people, and it wasn't the subjects weren't particularly spiritual in the sort of strictest sense of the word. It was about the community and young people, and a lot of the chat was about how young people were perceived by older people, and about the reputation of young people. They were like worried that young people were seen as like antisocial or whatever. So that was what a lot of the chat was about.
I mean, hey, are young There's quite a few topics around this. Hey, how's it going? How was the photo shoot? Are young people seen as antisocial? You know? Do you think young people are seen as antisocial? Give us 2 minutes of your time. Let us know. Are young people seen as antisocial? Churches, you know, what is a church? What is a church now? What do you think we're having a brewery in a church, you know? Is that a good thing?
Times gone by, didn't they brew beer and wine in the monastery? They did that, didn't they?
Did monks? So maybe alcohol in the church, maybe they do mix. We got some new faces at the table. Let me get your name.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hannah? Lucas. So this is Talkaoke, it's a pop-up talk show. You can talk about absolutely anything. We've been talking about self-care, spa days, breath work, meditation, cold showers, Tina Turner, theatre production, and now we're talking about the church and alcohol. Can they mix, you know? What about the representation of young people today, you know?
I mean, I'm not so much young people, but I want to talk about this idea that drinking is because I think it's actually quite a social activity. So, you know, I've lived in Hackney most of my life, and it is a place where there's a lot of drinking and a lot of partying. But this is seen as an anti-social activity, when in my mind it's extremely social activity.
Social.
Yeah.
I mean, is drinking antisocial? Is drinking antisocial, or what do you think?
I feel like it can depend on your culture and where you are.
Oh, let's get a final thought from you before you leave us.
We're just going to go so that we're not leaving.
Not leaving either. Well, let's get a little final thought for this your session this time.
I would say it depends how much you're drinking. It can be social, but then people go a bit too far, then maybe it's a bit antisocial.
So maybe people go a bit too far. So there's a balance. Okay, I'm wondering what is that? What is that balance? You know,
But it becomes antisocial when somebody gets rowdy and disruptive.
But is rowdy and disruptive antisocial? I know you had a point there on this side.
It comes back to the individual person and scenario, but also in the UK it definitely acts as a social lubricant. But say you go to south of Spain, there's people, they're probably less heavy drinking and they're more socially normally, more outgoing, and it can come down to the individual person and how social they are and how much they sort of rely on the alcohol to be social and be comfortable in their environment.
So it's about the culture, it's about the individual. Interesting. We got a new face at the table. What's your name? Talking to the mic there. Talking to the mic.
You're right. My name's Simon.
Simon, welcome to the chat, Simon. Let's do a quick round of names. Actually, we got Justin, we got Simon, we have Wendy.
Desiree.
Sorry, say that again. Desireen. Then we've got Christian. I'm so sorry. Ken. And we've got Lorraine, and then we've also got, remind me, Lucas and Anna. That's it. And then we've got Mike, we've got Rick on camera. So yeah, we've been talking about quite a lot this morning, actually, from spa day, self-care, face masks, and now we're talking about, can the church and alcohol mix? But also, is alcohol even antisocial? Why do we view alcohol as antisocial anyway? And weren't monks making alcohol beverages back in the day anyway? So where did this? What is this conversation about alcohol? And you know, why do people perceive alcohol as a negative thing sometimes? You know, is it about the culture? You know, that people are drinking in? Justin.
It does have a lot to do with culture. Certain cultures drink a lot. The British drink a lot. Germans, there's quite a strong drinking culture. Russia as well. I was very disturbed at the amount of drinking and street drinking by young people in Russia.
By young people.
But part of the British culture that I have an issue with is the concept of rounds. I very much disagree with this. I think it encourages excess drinking. And we're talking about socialness and drinking, and I find that if I choose not to participate in rounds, then I'm seen as antisocial.
Right. I mean, I see you nodding your head, Simon, there.
Yeah, no, I said it was Justin, right? Justin, yeah, I agree with what Justin said to a degree, because I think that if everybody's in together and they're all trying to keep up with each other, essentially you're going to it's a race to the bottom, right? You're looking for the person who's drinking the fastest, and everybody's trying to keep pace with them. Or there's going to be an average, and that's going to suit some people but not other people. And if you drink slowly, I'm sure this goes for women as well, but I think for guys, so often it's seen as an emasculating thing to not drink fast enough, that you're not enough of a traditional bloke in that respect, which is a very damaging kind of stereotype to have, really.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. So our ideas about masculinity have a part to play in our views on alcohol consumption. Have you been in a situation where you didn't want to go for that 5th round and somebody was like, come on, what's going on?
My problem is that once it gets past the 2nd or 3rd round, I don't give a shit, so I'll just carry on. But
right.
But the problem, I've got a lot of various different friendship circles, and I think it depends on the people that you're with, and it depends on what kind of people they are. So some people are very understanding of that and very compassionate towards different tolerances or different opinions and stuff. Some people are very much keeping up with the Joneses, but it seems like I don't even know how many of them would want to carry on doing it. I think that there's a degree to which every single person is just vibrating off the rest of them and one-upmanship type thing. So, I think you've got to be strong to say no.
You got to be strong.
Depending on your individual.
You got to be strong. Justin, and then I want to come to you, Wendy.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Simon. And I think if the people you're with know you and care for you, they will understand that you don't, that you may not be drinking at the same pace, and it's about consideration really, and who you choose who you drink with, don't you?
So you're saying the people. So can you not care for someone if you're offering them forcing them to drink? Well, encouraging them to drink a 4th or 5th round. Wendy,
the thing is, I disagree with what
Simon
said about the rounds, because we all have different capacities of drinking. I could drink you under the table, but there might be somebody else that can't do that.
Yeah.
But if we're sitting in a group and there's 5 of us, and you say, right, everybody's gonna buy a round, surely if you're with your friends, you could say, right, I've had enough. I'm out of this round.
But what do you think about what Simon was saying about, sometimes it's not seen as masculine to say no.
To refuse?
You know what I mean? Is it easy for the women around the table? Is it a bit easier to refuse that 4th or 5th round? Like, have you been in a situation where you felt uncomfortable, where you felt like someone's pressuring you to go for that 4th or 5th round or go for an extra round when you didn't want to?
I feel like it depends on what kind of person you are in terms of like your confidence to say no to having that drink. For myself, I'm comfortable with just saying no, I'm done, and no one can change my mind. But I know that there are people out there who won't have sort of strength to actually say no. I want to fit in. I want to drink more. So it just depends on the individual in that sense.
Right. So it's less about the gender and more about your confidence.
Yeah.
How confident you are. Interesting. Mikey?
Yeah, I think I'd concur with that, because when I was younger, I always just get sucked into this, but now I find it really easy just to say no. It's not a problem.
Okay.
But also, I think the other thing about the concept of the round is almost like, I've bought my round, therefore I need to get my money back.
Right.
Because I bought 5 drinks, therefore I need to buy 5 drinks, and that is a totally wrong way of looking at it.
How should people be looking at it?
It's just like you're throwing something in. It's a gift. You're giving. So you shouldn't expect to get 5 more drinks if you are buying a round of 5. Don't buy the round if you don't want to just give people the 5 drinks and be done with it.
So you're saying it's a gift. I can see you're nodding your head there.
I definitely feel like events or nights out or anything sort of that's planned in London, people do feel a certain amount of what am I getting out of this for what I'm putting in, and you can't really think of it as what you're getting, it's the experience you're paying for. You're paying for an experience and sort of that time really. So are you saying part of the experience is, the buying of drinks as a gift? I mean, if you're going in with the mindset of I've paid for these drinks, I need to have these drinks, why aren't you just buying cans and sitting around the sofa in your place?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Margot?
This reminds me of my friend who is Polish. he worked across Europe quite a lot, and then it's quite normal that you buy a round of drinks to people. It's just like it's a gift. It's something that you do. It's experience. But when he went to Poland and he was buying the first round for his colleagues from work, they're like, "Oh, cheers very much." Then they drank their drinks, and they often went to get their own drinks. Didn't get him any drink.
Oh.
And he said he really experienced a culture shock, even though he's of that culture.
Yeah.
Where they probably thought, "Oh, what a loser! Fucking hell, I make mine a double." And then it's like, it's just like it's just a different paradigm.
So
he was quite shocked.
That's really interesting. So buying rounds for people, it is kind of a British thing. Are British people a bit more generous than maybe Polish people? You know, when it comes to alcohol and sharing, I don't know. Justin?
I'll just pick up on something that Lucas said. There seemed to be a kind of either or. Either you sit at home drinking, watching TV, or you go out and in a big group, and this is a round thing. There's a halfway house that I've discovered, and that's I have a local. I don't necessarily arrange to meet people there. I'll just go in there, have a drink. If there's people in there that I know, I'll maybe sit and have a chat with them. I know the bar staff by first name, and you know, I can participate as much or as little as I want. The concept of the local.
Okay, so what is a local? What was this concept of local? What is it?
Where you go in and the bartender knows you by name.
Right. Oh, do you have experience of this? Right, as soon as they see you walking in, they start pouring.
Drink is on the bar.
Yeah, no, I've been on the other side of that for sure.
Pubs like that in Hackney though, because in Hackney, you know, I mean, they probably sell drinks here at the Vincent, but it's like, or at the Pembury, it's just such a massive. I go to the Pembury quite a lot, but it's just huge pub, and there's like, it's just too intense.
Yeah.
Just to be like, oh, hi Mikey, the usual.
When I worked in a pub down the road, and as soon as I saw someone walking in, I'd start pouring their drink. Yeah, I would know people by name. Like, hey.
Which pub was that?
The above one? No. The Old Ship. The Old Ship on Kingston Road, on Mare Street there.
Yeah.
Start pouring. Yeah.
This is a bit of a pouring conversation, isn't it?
Oh right. Okay. Yeah. Memories. Justin.
So, Mikey, when you go into the Pembury, do the staff not recognise you, and do they not know you by name? Because you can make that happen. You can.
It's them.
Yeah.
But they're quite recognisable in there.
Right. Okay.
But they don't recognise me. I'm just another customer.
You probably don't go there. Do you go there enough to be recognised? Do you?
About once a fortnight. I go there. Is that enough?
That seems to be often enough. I mean, are you not on first name terms with them? Well, then you can make yourself on first name terms.
So how
just introduce yourself? That's what I did.
Is that what you do? Yeah, you introduce yourself.
I mean, if you see them third or fourth time, you just say hi. What's your name? I'm Justin. And take it
Where is your local? Where is your local?
Well, just down the street, by definition.
Okay. All right. Okay. Leave it at that. Cool, Margot.
But I think, is there something about bartenders or I worked in bars a little bit, and then I worked in cafes probably way too long that I wanted to. But I think that involves like a lot of like emotional labour from the staff. Like I felt like I always had to put in that kind of emotional labour, because to remember somebody's name and genuinely like care is sometimes hard when you're working stupid shifts and you're underpaid. But what I recently had an experience of is where I live in Peckham, there's a cafe. It's a bit of a hipster cafe. I sometimes go there for a coffee. Come and join us. It's a talk show. Do you have a local pub? What's your local pub?
Pardon?
What is your local pub?
I don't really.
Or cafe?
Local pub, really.
So where do you go then? Come and what's your name?
Give us 2 minutes of your time.
I'm a drinker, really. So
give us 2 minutes of your time.
Are you a snacker? Yeah. Oh, there you go. Right, welcome.
Yeah. I'm on my way to go to the shops, really.
What shops?
Yeah. Okay.
What shops? I'm so curious.
Bring some snacks.
I'm wondering what shops, to be honest with you.
Probably Co-op.
Let's get a final thought from you guys before you leave us. Okay, yeah. Just anything you want to leave us with. Any final thoughts about anything we've spoken about so far?
Well, just on the drinking thing and the sort of the masculinity aspect, I feel like most of the time if I'm out and that's the mindset at the table, it's always born out of some form of insecurity and almost a form of, there's always a jealousy. If it's not immediate that you can say no to the round or you can leave before 12, you'll get that message the next day saying, God, I wish I left. Oh my God, I'm in so much pain. I ruined my day. Right. And you're there, you're feeling great about yourself, and they're thinking, oh God, he had the confidence to walk away. And I feel like confidence is really the key to any kind of masculinity.
I wonder how you get that confidence. What is that journey? What? How do you get that confidence? You know?
That's an age.
Growing and learning and knowing your worth.
Growing, learning, going, worth. All right. That's some things to leave us with. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, let us know how everything goes. All right, take care. Margot, I know you had a point there.
I feel like I need to work on my delivery. Just keep it a bit more succinct. That's my...
In what way?
I don't know, because I feel like by the time I finish making my point, and I still haven't finished it. I'm not finishing it now.
No.
People had left.
This is Talkaoke. You know, it's a free-flowing, free form. There's no rules here.
But all I wanted to say is, like, in my local cafe, which is a little bit upmarket, at some point, I noticed that the staff sometimes... There's not exactly they have attitude, but they don't give me that extra kind of like, oh, hello, how's it going? Even though I think they should recognize me.
Yeah.
You know, I go there.
How often do you go there?
Now and then, but
now and then.
But they just kind of like anything, like taking a mask off, really ceremonious. Anything else?
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, I'm on your side. I worked in the cafe. Please don't be like this.
Right.
But I can't. I'm just a customer. They're fed up. They're artists. They want to do something else.
Right. Oh gosh. Oh, customer service. Does that exist anymore? I don't know.
Of saying, hi, how are you doing? Before
always.
And they never answer. They never respond.
Fine. What can I get you? Like, that's what I mean. Like, I do make like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I make an effort and you like this to me, then you're really deeply unhappy. And there's nothing.
Yeah, maybe you need to find like another spot, you know. Honestly, I mean, I've done customer service jobs before, and I was always friendly, always giving people, 100%. I know, a little pat on my back there, Mikey, and then I'll come to you, Justin. We've got a new face joining us at the table. What's your name? What's your name? Oh, talking to the microphone there. Rosa. Welcome, Rosa. Wow. I mean, since starting at 12 o'clock, right now we're talking about, firstly, this is Talkaoke. It's a free-form talk show. You can talk about absolutely anything. And right now we're talking about your local. We're talking about pubs. What is a local? How do you create a local? Why do people even need to go to pubs anyway? We're talking about the church and alcohol. Can you mix the two? You know what I mean? Can you have a little shot of something at the back of the church? Or you're saying no? I want to grab Mikey's point and then I want to come back to you.
I did this experiment when I was at art school. I did this experiment where I wanted them exactly to do this in my local cafe next to the art school. I went in and I did say, as Wendy was saying, how are you doing and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And basically I ordered the same thing every day. I said, can I have a vegetable samosa?
Yeah.
And, I was trying to be friendly and I was waiting for them to go, oh, do you want your usual vegetable samosa?
Yeah.
They never, ever did.
They never did.
Like, in the end, I got sick of vegetable samosas and the plan didn't work. But then the same thing in Greg's in Chris Street Market.
Right.
I've just by accident just started ordering a series over many days of vegan sausage rolls, and then just without even thinking, they started saying, "Do you want your usual sausage roll?"
Wow. So
that did work.
it just depends. Come and give us 2 minutes of your time. This is a pop-up talk show. It's called Talkaoke. We're talking about your local, whether that's your local cafe, your local pub, your local shop. What is a local? How do you create a local? Is it about introducing yourself to the person behind the, what do you call it? Oh, Karen, person behind the desk. Is it about ordering the same thing every day? How do you create a local? What's your name? Alfred, yeah? Mm-hmm. Do you have a local? Ah, okay, a few locals. Where are they?
Shoreditch.
Ah, Shoreditch. What are they?
Just, obviously, one is like a social club, and another is just a bar.
Ah, social club and then bar. And how did they become your local?
Just reliable places to go to. You know you're going to have fun, you're going to enjoy
Yeah.
a safe environment.
It's a safe environment as well. So you're saying a place that feels safe, a place where you're going to have a little bit of fun. Margot? And then I'll come.
Do the people know you? People who work there, they know you? Because Shoreditch is a busy place and it's London as well.
They do know me now.
All right. How long did it take you?
It took me like probably a year and a bit.
A year
I
and
just
a
had to
bit.
keep going, keep showing my face, bring more people.
Yeah. Oh, bring more people.
Exactly, yeah.
Is having a local, is it important to you? You know?
Yeah, to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, yeah, it is.
Why do you? Because Justin was saying how, like, you know, it's good to have a local, you know, and he was just giving us some tips and tricks on how to find a local, you know. Justin, I know you had a point before.
Well, I was just going to pick up on something that Mikey said. Again, we learned something about Mikey. This concept of ordering samosas that you don't want just to test the staff. Again, I think that's a rather bizarre practice, Mikey. But I just wanted to say something that I think Margot may have been touching upon, and it's something that I've noticed. And I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, if this is a wider trend, and that's with the greater turnover that we now are experiencing in the hospitality industry. I've had 2 recent occasions where I've been served by someone that clearly was not experienced, and this was not a positive experience for me. And I just wondered if anyone else is finding this.
Right. So
this was in a coffee shop and also in a pub. And you know, clearly you're seeing a higher turnover, and I'm just wondering if you know, is this a trend that we're all going to experience?
Yeah. So you're saying that there's a higher turnover of staff these days, which means that you're coming across people who are less and less. Let's get a final thought from you. Yeah, no problem at all. This is Talkaoke, it's a free-form talk show. You can talk about absolutely anything. Let's get a final thought from you before you leave us. About absolutely anything. Anything you want to leave us with, or anything. Yeah. Oh, no pressure.
Hope everyone has a good day and enjoy life.
Hey, what's your work? Oh, Margot?
I'm a delivery man.
Do you get your favourite customers? Do you happen to deliver to the same people more than once?
Yeah, I do.
And do they recognise you?
Some of them don't like me. They think I banged the door too much.
Ah, that's interesting.
But
wow.
The job's got to be done. I've got to wake them up.
Yeah. You're the alarm clock. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be here until 4 o'clock. Let us know how it all goes. We got a new face at the table. What's your name? Oh yeah, if you talk into the microphone, Michael.
Hi, my name's Michael.
Michael.
And I work at the University of Exeter, but I'm working on a research project telling stories about time and waiting. I've been doing work with Anchor Hannover and residents like Wendy. And we've been telling stories about kind of what it means to wait when we were all stuck at home last year, and but also stories from different times in our lives and different states of health as well. I don't know if that's a good description of it. And the group also made a wonderful quilt, which we're now going to tour around Anchor Hannover properties to kind of like get people telling stories. Wendy. you want to say anything?
You're passing the mic to Wendy.
No, I don't want to say. Okay.
Passing the mic to Wendy.
I just want to be sure that I'd represented it. Okay,
Hey.
and they're good fun. They're really good fun. I hope. I'm not going to give you the mic, so you can't say that they're not good fun now.
What is the university that you said that you were representing today?
So I'm at the University of Exeter, but I'm a Londoner and I live in Walthamstow, so I'm actually sort of semi-local. So.
All right. Okay, you're a Londoner.
Yeah.
University of Exeter, lives in Walthamstow. Okay. Yeah. No.
That's
problem.
a fun commute.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I think Walthamstow, talking about these locals, it's got a lot of that high street. It's got a lot of that kind of local feel sort of shops.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more than Hackney, because it's a bit less busy. And it's not less busy, but there's so many of them going up and down the Market Street. I can't remember what the name of that street is. That it's got that vibe. More, I think it's got more of a local vibe than Hackney.
So you say Walthamstow's got a little bit more of a local vibe, local feel.
It hasn't been, like, if it's all right to say, it hasn't. I don't think it's yet been so smashed up by social cleansing kind of housing developments yet, but there are more of those sort of things popping up. Weekly.
Yeah. All right. So soon it will maybe feel a little bit less local. Simon.
I think I've got a point that kind of bridges the gap between a few of the points just talked about. So we're talking about locals. We're talking about the anonymity of service staff and the changeover of service staff and stuff like that, and also about the difference between maybe Walthamstow and Hackney. And it strikes me that it's all about volume of people, right? So it doesn't matter whether that's in Walthamstow or whether it's whether it's clients or whether it's service industry workers or anything like that. Ultimately, if you get a big changeover of people or too much of a volume of people, you can't serve everybody in the same manner which everybody wants to be served by, right? So, but we talked about locals, and the gift of a local was that it was a small place with a certain amount of people and everybody knew each other. But when you increase the volume of people, both service staff and clients, you can't get that personal touch anymore. It's not, it's always more difficult to get that.
Yeah,
so,
it's a bit more challenging.
hence why where there's less people, say in Walthamstow, for instance, there will be more of a, plotted on a graph, there's more likelihood of you finding your local in there than you would do in an area where there's more transition.
So you're saying it's just about a busy area, a more densely populated area.
Yeah,
it's going to be harder. You're going to have to work a bit harder to find that local.
I mean, my local in Bow when I was younger was like a real rundown old man pub, and it was fantastic. It was my favourite pub, and now there's far more people that have been shoehorned into the area, and also the pub's gone up market, and now it's certainly not a local anymore in the same respect as it used to be. But then there was only about 5 people in there, so it probably wasn't a sustainable business. So,
I mean, what does it mean by a pub going up market? What does that look like?
It means that the carpets aren't stained anymore. In fact, there's no carpets in there.
There's no carpets.
No dog in the corner.
You get instead of peanuts, you get olives.
Oh right.
Not crisps anymore.
Or posh crisps, not normal crisps.
We've got a new face at the table actually. What's your name? Mia. Talk into the mic, Mia. Hey. Any thoughts about anything we've been speaking about so far? We've been talking a lot about local, your local cafe, your local pub, your local shop. So what does local mean? Does the local exist anymore? Is it possible? Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's harder to find in London.
Yeah.
I've lived here for like 2-3 years now, but I'm from Surrey, and there everyone knows everyone. So it's different, I think.
Yeah, it's different.
And I think it takes more time to find those
takes a bit more time
connections, I think, when it's broader.
Yeah, so a bit like what Simon was saying. I'm going to grab Margot's point and then I'm going to come to you, Justin.
Yeah, I wonder, so is this what happens now, that kind of like old and young people get kind of separated, and then the area just gets more busy, younger people move in, they sell olives, there's no dog in the corner, there's no carpet, whatever, and then is it like some kind of just for specific ages or something? Because where do older people go, and where because things are really expensive now. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. Because I think the beauty of those kind of old school pubs is that everyone can come in, and there's like a real mix of people, different ages as well. And I sometimes I don't know.
So you're
there
saying
are places around Peckham which just look so slick, and I just feel intimidated going in there. But everyone's like young and beautiful. I find that intimidating.
Right. So you're saying these new pubs, it's not, diverse. Where's your local? Do you got a local pub, local cafe? So you're saying the new places, they're looking a bit slick, all beautiful people are working in there, so you feel a little bit intimidated going in. Where do some of the older beautiful people go, I just want to grab Justin's point.
Mia, I hear what you say about London, but I think if you're lucky, I mean, there is a village feel to many areas. My area in particular, I live in Notting Hill. I mean, we even have our own local radio station. I don't know how many other, but there is a village feel to Portobello Road.
Yeah. So you live in Portobello Road, there's a bit of a village feel there. Why do you think there's a village? So you're saying that even in these large areas, you still can have a community vibe, a village feel to it. What does a village feel look like? For someone who knows only the city, what is a village feel?
It's knowing the local tradesmen, the street food vendors in Portobello Road. I've got the local, and it's just it's hard to define really because Notting Hill doesn't really end, and places don't really end. They just merge into one another. But you do seem to get this feel in certain places in London. Not all. I mean, central London you don't really get that. But just I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say how you get that. But you do sense it. You do sense it in certain areas. Yeah.
It's a feeling. Wendy. Where do you go? To socialize. Where's your local? What's your local?
I haven't been to my local actually. No, but I wanted to talk about the difference in like where older people go and the difference when new people move into the area. Just take Brixton Market for instance.
That
was
local?
In the news, and I lived in South London for a lot of years, and you would go to Brixton Market and you can find a stall from any country that anybody came from. Now you go to Brixton Market, it's completely different, and there's a covered area where it's all yuppified. Because you have this Thai cuisine and it's so different, and a lot of people complained about it because the people that moved in, they were like a higher pay bracket, income bracket. They're higher income bracket, so therefore the local shops had to go. So it's very, very yuppified. You walk through there and you can't find a stall that would sell green banana and yam. You know what I mean?
Right. So you're saying that now that people who are earning more have moved in, the places that would once service the local community, they don't exist anymore. Interesting. Justin, and then I'll come to you, Mikey.
Yes, that's interesting, Wendy. It is nice to have bananas and yam, but it's nice to have variety too, isn't it?
Yes. When I say bananas and yam, I meant the fact that most of the stalls were catered to the West Indian people. You could have everybody else, but the particular covered markets, you have these little
the indoor market.
Yeah, they've all gone.
And you have
these small. It's nice. But then who can afford it? It's because the people that have moved in, they're at a high income bracket. So the locals
can't longer afford it.
Can't go there and sit down and have a cup of coffee. This little cup of coffee for for a tenner. You know what I mean? So it's just
that's interesting. I'm going to grab your point, Simon, and then I'm going to come to you.
I was wondering when the G word was going to rear its ugly head, gentrification or yuppies or anything, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's such a conundrum. It's a real catch-22. Everybody wants to live in a nicer area, but everybody's got different opinions as to what the nicer area constitutes, right? But with regard to you were asking about where older people go, so say for instance, Bow is my case study. That's where I was born and raised, and to see the cheaper pubs, the old pubs, get renovated into nicer, newer pubs. The clientele comes in, area becomes more expensive, housing becomes more expensive, the pubs then become more expensive, everything becomes more expensive, and gradually those people are ostracised further and further out, and they still find tiny little, maybe one pub or one place where you can still go and it's all right. But eventually, if this process continues, then there's not that one place. So essentially, people are ghettoised by pushing them further and further out of the areas that are like that. And then, lo and behold, those areas have become expensive as well. So I don't know. I don't really have a question, just a comment.
I mean, I guess how does it make you feel when you see when you know people being pushed further and further out? You know, your locals aren't there. What kind of feelings do people have about this? You know. I'm going to grab your point and then I'll come to you, Mikey.
New faces over here.
Perfect. Let's get we've got some new face at the table. What's your name? Zanaya.
Well, that's how it goes now because no one's a local anymore.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Come and join us. Where's your local? Where's your local pub? Where's your local cafe? Let us know. What's your name? Joan. Perfect. We've got a new face joining us at the table. Josephine, welcome. Take a seat. Was I grabbing?
No, I want to make one quick point, and that is where do all the old people go? When my dad comes to visit me, he goes to Wetherspoons. Right. He absolutely loves Wetherspoons, and if you want to find the old people in Hackney that go to pubs, a lot of them will be in Wetherspoons.
Right. So, is this true? We've got a new face at the table. Let's get your name. What's your? Oh gosh. Oh no problem. I know you're a new face today, but you know how this works. So yeah, I mean, what do we think about what Mikey was saying? If you want to find some older people, go to Wetherspoons, and that's where you're going to find an older crowd. Just to fill you in of what we're talking about right now, we've been talking a lot about locals. Does the local still exist? You know, you got your local pub, where's your local pub or your local cafe? Your local corner shop. Give us 2 minutes of your time. Let us
or your local talk show.
It's
right here.
What does a local mean to you? And can they still exist? Wetherspoons. Does anyone go to Wetherspoons around here? Does anyone go to Wetherspoons? Yeah. And what do you think? Is that where the older people can hang out now?
Yeah, it is. Most definitely. I also did work in a homeless shelter before, and a lot of the guys from there, they will go to Wetherspoons. I'd say Wetherspoons is probably one of the more inclusive pubs in terms of a price point and a demographic, but ultimately as well, you're not the benefit of a pub, as far as I was concerned, is that a pub used to be a melting spot for every single person in society. So it didn't matter whether you were rich or poor, whether you were old or young, whether you were anything like that. It was an essential crux of the community where people chatted together and they learned what the other people felt and what the other people thought. Whereas if you're forcing a certain group of people to only go to Wetherspoons, a certain group of people to go to the bougie pubs, there's not the crossover. That's where the pub excelled. That's what the pub's supposed to be, not a social club, but a meeting point. You know?
So you're saying there's not enough intergenerational mixing going on?
I mean, just all kinds of mixing. I think whether that be based on age, social demographics, economic status. Even there's more extreme
things are a bit more segregated now. Why do people need to mix? Do you know? Why do old and young people need to be drinking in the same public house? You know, why do all of these different ethnicities need to be mixing? Zanaya?
I can't hear myself.
Oh yeah, now you can.
Am I here? Oh yes, I'm here, live and direct. Yeah. Who was that?
That's the wrong button at the
Mikey!
Maybe you've been drinking, or I don't know.
No, I do think that community centres that used to be in estates, because those have taken away. I remember growing up as a younger child and thing like that. You'd have the adults on the estate as well as the children, and I think that's an essential because that means youngers can mix with older people, and I'd like to see more of those back because I know that obviously it's COVID now, but the community centre is a hub for people on the estates and people to mix, and I think back then everyone knew each other. It's different now.
So you're saying is there a community centre on this estate? Is there a community centre on this estate? Is this an estate? Is it an apartment block?
I mean, I think I should say that
come and join us.
We're invited by the community centres to come and talk here. So there is a community centre, but is it working in the same way as it used to work? I would argue maybe it's not, because.
But how what signifies a community centre working? Do you have a local community centre? That's in Enfield, yeah? And what do you say, the community centre is a place where different people can come together and, yeah? And would you say it's a way for everyone to get to know each other, community centres, or?
Sorry?
And through the community centre, is that how you got to know your neighbours? And
yeah, that's the way we know each other, by coming together, different ethnicity, both young and old, mixing up together, having coffee, tea together.
Yeah. I mean, what kind of things do you do at the community centre?
Like I'm a senior health assistant, but I'm studying adult nurse now. So, like the elderly ones there, like those that are sick, I talk to them, I attend to them. Like the ones that are, for the ones that some of them have dementia, like I tell people how to attend to them, because most people don't know how to handle them, how to treat them.
Yeah.
Like you might see somebody that has dementia, he or she might say, oh, in those days we used to have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. Then you will know that he or she wants to have it. Coffee or tea. Most people don't know those things.
Right.
So I enlighten them. I create awareness on that to tell them, look, these are the things you do to make them happy. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying like sometimes a person with dementia, they can actually give you little tips on the things that they want.
But if you don't understand, you won't know where they are driving at. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. Margot?
This reminds me of we did a Talkaoke up in Bradford, and then I met a lady there who was saying she was working in older people's home, and she was saying there was a lot of people who came from like Eastern European background, and they came from very traumatic backgrounds as well. They were deported, they've been through war and that kind of stuff, and then over the years, and obviously they were living in a foreign country, and over the years when dementia kind of developed and different things, they were just kind of they were getting really distressed about things, and nobody understood what they meant, because nobody spoke their language. And then the staff used to get impatient and be like, oh, that's a difficult person because they're kicking off or whatever. And then she obviously she was of Polish descent, and so she understood Polish and Polish history. And then when she started talking to the people in the home, they were like, oh yeah, this thing.
Nice.
And then
lovely.
And then she started like doing like an awareness training to the other staff, just to kind of try to understand where people are literally coming from. So don't shut them down just because they're distressed or loud.
So, that's really interesting. So you're saying that maybe there's not enough awareness about dementia and how to help support people with it. Wendy?
I have a very different scenario. You have people that come from different cultures, and you have some English people that are, or the older generation, are very, very racist. Very, very racist. And 2 weeks ago, my daughter was working in the hospital, and this lady came in. She was 80-something years old with a hip replacement, and she was calling her half-breed.
Okay.
So in this day and age, 2021, you still find that.
Right. So
it's hard sometimes. Sometimes you have to have a thick skin, and sometimes it depends what kind of night you've had.
Did this patient have dementia? Did they have dementia or?
No, she was just a nasty old woman living in a home.
Right.
She was just nasty.
Let me say one thing. Like what you just said now. Some of them is illness. It's not that they've. No. Like no. That's my job. That's where like I've been into that. Some of them will come to call. They will call you names, but it's not just from them, but because of the sickness, the kind of illness they are into. Honestly.
I firmly, strongly.
Okay.
Well, some are, but some is illness. Yeah.
No. Illness doesn't make you racist.
Right.
It doesn't make you racist. That you're racist by your thoughts.
By your thought.
And she was feeling that.
Right. Let me grab your point. Give me one moment. I'll grab your point in a sec.
She's still feeling that.
Right.
Dementia doesn't make you racist.
Right.
Alzheimer's doesn't make you racist.
Right.
This is your thoughts that you've had from since whenever.
Right.
When you have Alzheimer's and dementia, is you remember things from way back. Not now. Not now. You remember things from when you were 16, 17, 20.
Right.
Okay. So that would have had that
So you're
would have
saying
been
it's
ingrained in
it's
them.
something that's ingrained
Yes.
in you.
Dementia and Alzheimer's has
doesn't-
nothing to do with being nasty when you're 80 years old.
Right. Is this a final thought from you or? Okay.
Thank you very much for having me. As per usual.
Anything you want to leave us with or?
I want to leave you with my theory that what you're doing here is the most important thing that we could be doing with our time. Everybody sitting together, chatting and talking about things. Nothing gets better with us siloing each other away, assuming that we know what the other person's talking about. We have nuanced discussions about things, even that are quite heated, understandably and quite rightly, but conversation is the only way forward. So yeah.
Conversation is the only way forward. All right. Nice one. See you again. I want to grab your point. So talking to the mic.
And if you go up there, you find out Hackney's got more expensive than it should be.
Okay.
I've been in Hackney now nearly 30 odd years.
Oh wow.
And that is very bloody expensive.
When you say that, what are you talking about? The bills of the apartments?
The apartments at the top there are very dear.
Yeah.
It's too dear for anybody to live.
Yeah. Too expensive for
I've been in the army over 10 years and I've travelled a lot. That is more dearer from where I come from in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
You can buy a 4-bedroom house in Yorkshire for 250 quid. Where can you get a house down here? 4 bedrooms for that.
Yeah, so it's challenging to buy a house here in London. Mikey?
I just want to come on to the racism thing. I think I think it's a conversation that we need to have, and I think sometimes because we're worried about appearing to be racist or appearing to be controversial, we kind of bury this discussion. But the racism thing, we need to talk about it, and I do think.
Well, what do we need to talk about?
Well, I've experienced it myself. Like I had a friend who had terminal cancer, and there was some incidences when I took him to the hospital or when we were in the Uber, he got very racist. And like, it's too late. Someone that's dying, it's too late to kind of change their outlook.
Yeah.
It was kind of pretty bad, the things that he was coming up with. But I do think part of it was because he had a liver problem, and that was causing him to be very angry about lots of things, not just be racist, but when you've got older people that are in hospital, is there anything you can do about it? Is it too late for them to change?
Do you think it's a bit like what Wendy was saying, how perhaps it was just ingrained in him and the anger was just...
I think so. I mean, you're talking about somebody, that was born in his case in the 1960s, but most people it's much earlier than like the 30s and 40s.
Right.
You can't go back in time and reverse that racism that happened when they were growing up, and when they've got like mental issues or they're sort of got terminal illness, you can't teach people.
Can you teach someone before they die how to not be racist? No, I don't. Ooh, sorry. Justin?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Mikey, but people go through life and they have experiences and hopefully they learn and grow as people. But I also think we should be heartened by if we look at where we are now and we compare that to say 30 years ago. I mean,
final thoughts.
What
Sorry, Justin.
What you were saying, Wendy, if you compare where we are now with Britain 30 years ago, it is very different now to what it was 30 years ago, and that's the progress of time. And yes, it's not ideal now, but it's way better than it was, and it will get better. It may not get better as quickly as you want it to, but it will improve. I mean, I'm heartened by young people. They seem to be much more aware these days of, like, slavery in Bristol. They tore down the statue, and you know, those were young people that were doing that. They seem to they're much more aware of.
So you're saying that young people are a bit more aware now. So
way more than they were in the 80s. You had.
Well, let's get a final thought from you before you leave us. Let's get a final thought from you before you leave us. A final thought. Oh, you're coming back. Perfect. So you're saying young people are more aware of, societal issues. So, maybe when they become 80, 90, 110 and they get dementia, maybe they won't be spewing out some racism, you know?
I think we could be saying that for the next 20 years. I'm sure 30 years ago we were saying that the younger people, they're more aware. But what has changed? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Talking to the mic there?
Yeah, nothing has changed really. If you think about it, I think the older people, like myself, we've become a little bit more tolerant.
Right.
We've become tolerant.
So you're saying that the older people have just become tolerant. Tolerant of what?
The racism.
What is tolerance? What does it look like?
Sometimes you want to stand up.
Yeah.
And sometimes, well, it's happened to me, and I tell myself, no, I need to say something.
Yeah.
Because it's not all the time you can just turn the other cheek. Sometimes you have to stand up and say, this isn't right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, when we all have different colors, different cultures, different languages, at the end of the day, when you go into a hospital and you need blood, you do not ask where the blood comes from. You don't.
Yeah.
You need life-saving blood, so you take it.
Is there not an issue with? Anyway, I won't get into it, but no, that's yeah. I mean, I want to bring. Is it Georgina? Rosa. I want to bring you into the conversation, Rosa. What do you think about what Wendy was saying? You know, have you had to turn the other cheek before? You know, how do you deal when people are maybe a bit racist to you? Oh, if you're talking to the microphone there, you just ignore it. Ignore it. Would you say you've just become tolerant? Do you just tolerate it? Yeah. You just ignore everyone. Go on your way. You just go on your way. What does going on your way look like? What does that look like?
I'm not very sure.
Do you have a local? Where's your local shops? Where's your local pub? Do you go to the pub maybe?
No, because I don't drink.
You don't drink. Why? Is there a reason why you don't drink? Is there a
social? I don't.
Is there a reason why you don't smoke or drink?
No, I've never put a cigarette in my mouth. No. I don't see why people should do that.
Say that again.
I don't know why they should do that.
Why
put a cigarette in their mouth and smoke all the time? No.
So it just doesn't appeal to you. What about drinking alcohol? Nah. How come you've never drunk alcohol before? Has anyone ever offered you a glass of wine?
Yes.
And how do you feel when you tell them no?
I sometimes take a little bit of wine, but I get drunk after that.
Oh, so you do
one shot and I'm drunk.
So you do drink?
I'm not used to it. So
did you not have any of the rum when we were the other day?
No.
So you do drink from time to time?
No.
You know? A little shot here and there.
Christmas, anytime. I have my birthday.
Medicinal.
Medicinal purposes.
I drink coffee or tea.
Coffee. So coffee or teas. Yeah?
That's it.
Margot?
I didn't catch the beginning of the point that you were making, Wendy, about maybe people are just, they put up with more these days or something. But I also wonder whether it's something to do with age, because I sometimes find my mum in Poland, like, for instance, she always like finds she finds it infuriating and frustrating when she goes to sort something out, the doctors or post office or whatever, and if the person on the other side of the desk goes like, no, it's like this, and she's like, but how is it like this? You know, the minute she gets into conversation and they kind of like talk down to her because she's older.
Right.
And sometimes my mum, like, I always say to her, listen, just, you know, people have like shit jobs, maybe they just hate their job or whatever it is. And she's like, no, next time I see them, I'm going to tell them straight to their face. And she literally does. And then
does she?
sometimes, and then she gets good treatment, or not like exceptional, but they just at least go and do something which they weren't doing previously just because they couldn't be bothered or nobody made them. So that kind of created that culture of like, if you want to get something sorted out in Poland, you have to just like from a get-go be like, you do this now, like shut up, just do this for me, and then it's tense. Everyone's like, stressed.
That's so interesting. So you're
To be quite honest, I'm like that now.
Yeah.
Where when I was younger, I turned my back on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, I've got a temper, and if I let loose, I let loose. So I try my best not to. But I find the older I'm getting, right, I am less tolerant.
Right.
I cannot tolerate a lot of nothing around me.
Yeah.
And if you say anything to me that I don't like, I'm gonna blast you there and then.
Right.
And where the racism bit comes in, if you say anything regarding my color, I am gonna really give it to you.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in England, and I know what I had to go to coming here at the age of 12.
Yeah.
Never known anything about being black because it was a culture shock.
Yeah.
That it was a shame and a disgrace to be born black.
Yeah.
Until I come to England, I didn't know that everybody in my country was people, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
There was nothing to do with color. Yeah? And I tolerated a lot. I had quite a few fights as well, because I'm that type of a person.
Yeah.
If you say something to me that I don't think you should say, and it's to me, I'm gonna have a go at you.
Right.
But the age thing as well, a lot of it is to do with age. You find, I'm 75 and I'm not ashamed of telling anybody my age. Yeah. You find that you cannot tolerate a lot of things.
So it's a bit like what Margot was saying with her mum, how
you seem to lose your bottle very quickly.
Yeah.
You seem to get angry very quickly.
Okay then. So you've become less tolerant.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. Is that something that we can look forward to? Maybe some of us who turn the other cheek. We've got some new face at the table. What's your name? Come a bit closer. Don't be shy. Hey, take a seat. Sorry, what's your name? Ma'am, yeah? What's your name? Deidre, yeah? Fair enough, no problem. So, ma'am, right now, no pressure at all. You're welcome to just stay there. But, ma'am, right now we're talking about, do you become less tolerant the older you get? We've heard from some people around the table that now that they are 75, they don't really care about offending people anymore. If someone says something to them that they don't like, they're going to tell them right there and then. Definitely try and have any thoughts about that. Mikey?
Older people have got more outspoken views. For example, my stepfather is Pakistani, and we were talking about the Black Lives Matter thing, and he was like, what they're going on about Black Lives Matter, there's no racism in this country. They're just going on about, we've got he's going on about Rishi Sunak. It's like, how can you say it's a racist country when Rishi Sunak is the Chancellor of the Exchequer? We're not racist at all in this country. And he's like 86 years old, and people have got these outspoken views when they get to that age, one way or another.
Right.
It's our license to say what we want.
Rishi Sunak has more money than the Queen, innit?
Yeah.
Michael?
Yeah, I was going to say, to kind of follow on from that and from what was said a bit earlier about how I think you were saying that you thought things have got better over the last 30 years, and I think it is just a question of them getting very different. You might have the BBC kind of going through and removing racialized jokes from old 1970s shows. So on that level, there's a kind of, there's an acknowledgement that you shouldn't be saying certain things and using certain terms. However, when I teach at the University of Exeter, I was there on Monday, and I look out at a bunch of incredibly privileged people sitting for this lecture, and the racial demographics are totally out of whack. 100% out of whack. And yeah, sure, you can have an example of Rishi Sunak, who's a wealthy person, and that's why he's Chancellor of the Exchequer, and his wealth and his class is then trumping his race. But the racial demographics map so much onto class as well. You know, and people are excluded from certain. You know, so if it's structural rather than personal, it's in some ways a more pernicious form of racism. No one says fewer people are saying things to people's faces in public, but then people are being kept further and further apart as well.
Sometimes it's like the structures as well that are racist. I want to bring Mam into the conversation there. What do you think about some of the things we've been talking about? Does racism exist today? Any thoughts on Rishi Sunak? Can this country be racist if we have people like Rishi Sunak? Who is Rishi Sunak? What is? Oh, you can't hear me properly. Okay. Do you think racism exists today? In what way?
In every way. In every way.
Okay, no worries, no problem.
In every way.
What school do you guys go to? What school do you go to? Different. Talking to the mic. Clapton. All right, Clapton. And you go to a different school. What school is that? Mosbourne. Okay, and it's over there. Do you like your schools? Do you enjoy your schools? What do you like about it?
Clapton. What school is in Clapton?
There's Clapton girls.
It's diverse. Okay, so it's a good reflection of the local community. I'm going to grab Margot's point, and then I want to come to you, Justin.
I have had a little crush on Rishi Sunak when he first came on the scene, and I feel like, and I know I shouldn't probably because he's a Tory, but sometimes it just happens. You fall in love with it. I haven't fallen in love with it. No, I didn't. No, I'm going to rephrase that. Sometimes you fancy people you shouldn't be fancying because of their political views.
Boris Johnson?
I don't fancy him. That's what I'm saying. Has that ever happened to anyone? Maybe it's just me.
No.
Is it the money?
No, it's just I think he's good looking, but I think the reason why I find him attractive is because he appears on TV, and the reason why he appears on TV is because he's an influential politician / businessman.
Who is that?
Rishi Sunak.
Oh, Rishi Sunak. Okay, wow. Justin.
They don't think that they belong to
It's largely down to the fact that he's been able to be so generous with the furlough scheme and so on and so forth. But I just wanted to ask you, Michael, I didn't quite understand. You said the ethnic demographic was out of whack. What did you mean by that? I didn't quite follow that.
I meant that the distribution of people in the first year intake at Exeter does not reflect the population of the UK, and the barriers to entry to Exeter University, which basically people are filtered out on class and race grounds well before they even get to applying. We have a huge problem across all of HE, but again, particularly amongst universities which are perceived as still being elite in some way, they're places that aren't for certain people, and people are self-selecting to not go. But this is at the end of years and years of being kind of pushed out, isolated, downgraded in education, starting, if not from primary, certainly all the way through secondary. You're looking at people who get excluded for certain behaviours, and if you're working class and or a person of colour, you're way more likely to be suffering exclusions. Now, either that means that people are like genetically or class-based likely to be less well behaved, which I don't for a second accept, or they're going to be cut less slack by a system that's always kind of playing to the interests of middle class people. And then you see that middle class people can then progress way further through it. And that kind of deep racism doesn't require anyone in the process to actually have any kind of overt, none of these teachers, well maybe some, but very few of the teachers would be exhibiting any like overt racist behaviour, but there's embedded prejudices that are structurally there, that before they even join the school, before they even join education, and it just kind of beds it in further and further and further. So the reason why we have an almost entirely white intake, entirely white upper middle class intake in our English degree at Exeter, is because the people have been filtered out over years and years and years of prejudice and barriers all the way through education.
Is it not true to say though that somewhere like Exeter, in the southwest, it is less culturally diverse than somewhere like London?
A lot of our people are from London. A lot of these students are from London. They're not. I mean, there's a local intake,
right?
And there certainly is a kind of local. There's a degree of local demographic, but Exeter's almost entirely non-local students. Certainly not from Exeter town itself.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are Londoners. A lot of them are wealthy Londoners, or wealthy home counties people.
It's deeply embedded, and it's something that has the what can I say? The wheels have been turning decades ago.
Yeah.
So it means that someone today who's applying, well, the structure's already in place to kind of push them out. Well, not accept them into it. What can anything be done about this? Do we need to do anything about this?
We definitely do need to do something about that. Yeah.
I mean, what can be done about it? What can be done to?
Look, schools are there to teach and educate children.
Yeah.
Yeah, from their young. Parents also has a big role to play in it, right? If a lot of parents stop talking negative about other countries and other cultures, children wouldn't pick up on it. Racism is taught.
It's taught.
Yeah?
Racism's taught.
It is taught because you hear your mum and your dad, oh, that black man this, and oh, this black woman. And a child keep hearing that. Okay, I'll give you an instance. When me and my partner broke up years ago, and I was angry, I used to curse her father something chronic. Yeah? And one day she came in the kitchen and I didn't even know she was in the house. And she says, Mom, that's my dad you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if I had kept that up, she would have ended up developing a hatred towards her dad because of me and my anger. I mean, racism is taught in the home, also in the schools.
What do you think about what Justin was saying, how the young generation seems to be a bit more culturally aware? Maybe do the young people need to teach the older generation about race and racism? Is that what needs to be done? Mikey?
No, I personally think until the white race can acknowledge and accept that what they did years and years ago to the black race and acknowledge it, admit it, right, and apologize to the black race, right, not just pretend that they're sorry, but genuinely show us that they are sorry for what they put our ancestors through, and start teaching racism in school so the black and the younger white children will understand it. Right? If you don't talk about it, you don't know nothing about it, you're ignorant to it. I talk to my grandchildren about racism, and it's one thing I always say to them, don't let nobody put you down because of your color. Because if God wanted us all to be white, He would have made us all white. And if He wanted us all to be black, He would have made us all black. Right?
Okay, so you're saying educating people about racism in school in the past is a way to kind of effectively
get people to understand.
Get people to overcome, move on from racism, move on from it as well. Money. Mikey, I'm going to grab your point there.
I think that the idea that racism isn't like a personal thing, but it's actually our society as a whole. The system and structure is racist is a very important thing, and I think it's been much more highlighted with the Black Lives Matter thing, and I think that's a really good thing. But what you said, what can we do about it? One of the things we can do about it, I think, is make higher education free, so that it's not just rich people, mostly white people, that can afford to go there. Would be one one thing that I would do.
It's the richer you are, the cheaper it is to go to university now, because you can do it. You can pay up front if you're well off. If your family can afford £9,200 a year, you pay it up front. You don't take a loan. If you're less well off, you take a loan. You pay interest. So things cost more for the poorer and less for the richer people. And it's like the answer. Part of the answer of what can be done about race and all these inequalities is money. You know, we look at the kind of racist structures in the UK. The wealth of this country was built upon sugar, cotton, and the slave labour that worked to produce those things. That's where this wealth comes from, and to better distribute this wealth. You know, all the kind of nice platitudes and even like education, these are all things that need to go on top, but underneath it comes down to material things, like how comes still the wealth inequalities of colonialism define our society? You look at like a nice wealthy part of Bristol, it's not, putting the statues down is one thing, redistributing the slave wealth in that town, that would be another thing.
But does the slave wealth still exist today? Surely slavery, surely that was a long time ago, like, you're saying it exists today, but
it's not a long time ago.
Does it wealth exist today?
Absolutely. The people who come to...
It's still affecting us today.
But does the wealth exist today? The money they made, where is it?
Oh my God, so like, I just read a really good book called Stigma about...
talking to the mic there?
And it talks about the wealth that came through the Lancashire mills, which was basically propped up by slave-produced cotton in the 19th century, you know, American cotton coming from the slave states in the south. And still today, the family of the miller, and I can't remember his name, they are the wealthiest family in the area. They own vast amounts of properties. That wealth then transferred from slave labour into property in the UK, and then it's just passed down and passed down and passed down. That wealth's protected again and again and again. We've had like sort of 50, 60 years of wealth distribution between the end of the Second World War and up to the 80s, and then all of that's being reversed. And that's where the losses and gains to be made in your pocket.
So you're saying people who live today are wealthy because of that generational, because generationally they're wealthy because their ancestors profited off the enslavement of black people.
And then you've got an intermediary band of middle class people who, you know, again, like these people aren't individually racist as such, but they've benefited. You know, I have benefited. I benefited from growing up in an environment where, you know, for a period of years when there were free public libraries, when there was a decent benefit system, all this stuff was propped up by money from empire. You know, and it was about distributing the benefits unequally to keep middle class people and lower working class people on board with these structures of inequality.
So I suppose in a way, if there's people in the UK today that have profited from slavery, there must be some of those enslaved great grandchildren who are quite negatively impacted by this as well.
I'll tell you a story when I left school in this country, because in those days school leaving age was 15, not 16.
So say that again?
Yeah? When I came to England, I was 12 years old. Right, so I finished my education in England. Not that I learned anything, because I find school in England very boring, because all I got pushed down my throat was the English history. I'm West Indian. What are you telling me about the English history? And all them thinking Henry VIII, right? When I left school at the age of 15, I went to the careers office for my first job and to get my insurance number. My dad came with me, and I went and sat down, and she said to me, "What job would you like to do?" So I said, "Oh, I'd like to work in the telephone exchange. Them days where they used to connect calls." Yeah. She turned and looked at me and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry. You can't do that sort of job because your English is not very good." I spoke better English than she did and was only in the country for 3 years. My dad was so angry when she said that. He got up and literally slammed on the table and said to her, "How dare you? She's only been in this country for 3 years and she speaks better English than you that was born here."
Right.
Them days, racism was in your face.
Yeah.
It's been taken and swept under the carpet. Now, Harold Wilson was the one that brought out the equality law.
The what law?
The racial equality. Harold Wilson was the one that put it in place. And that was when they picked up the carpet and swept it under the carpet.
Right, so you're saying now it's been swept under the rug. On that point, we are now gonna let's get some final thoughts for this round. We're gonna have a little swap of hosts or a little lunchtime break.